I met B in 1996, and to say it was love at first sight would be an understatement. It was love at first sight. When we got really involved, I moved to his hometown. We bought a house. It was my dream home. It was everything I'd ever wanted in a home. And slowly that home became a war zone. A shove became pushed downstairs, became holding too tight, became me covered in bruises all the time. Going to family functions and my arms would just be covered in bruises. And my mom would always ask me what's going on, and I became a great liar. Everything became a lie. So my whole world just became so convoluted and so unreal. But then I gave birth to Karina. And when she was in my arms, that very first time I held her and I looked at her, she saved me. She gave me a new strength. She gave me a strength that said, you're going to fight back now. Because I was not going to let that child, I was not going to let her be hurt. I was not going to let her see it. After her first birthday, he got really abusive. And I've always said, you can do whatever you want to me, you hurt me, but if you touch one of my kids, that's when I lose it. And he touched one of my kids. And I lost it. And my child phoned 911, and the police arrived at our home, and they took him out. This was right like 4 days before Christmas. And they said to me, he's not going to get bail. Don't worry, you're fine, you're okay. Christmas Eve, I get a knock on the door. I open the door to find 2 police officers there. And they said, Kim, you need to pack your things. We're moving you to a shelter. And we lived in that shelter for almost 6 months. And 6 months of shelter living is pretty tough. So I have 2 pretty young kids, and I'm managing. My parents, being the wonderful people that they are, help us to get a place to live. We packed up and moved to Guelph. We're driving along the 401, going to a house we don't know what it looks like, to a neighborhood we've never seen before. My kids are going to go to schools that we don't even know about. And I came down to my house and I put my key in the door, and I just took a deep breath and I opened the door and I went, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. And we were okay. We were home. We felt like we were home. A week later, he calls me to tell me that he has been charged with fraud. And I was going to be charged as well. He wouldn't take all the charges, even though it was him, that I was complicit in it. I will own that mistake for the rest of my life. I will own that. I knew better than to help him do what he needed me to do. I knew better than to make fake invoices for him. I knew better than to be involved in that. But unfortunately, when you're in a situation where you do this or you're going to get beaten, what are you going to do? I'm going to do this because it's going to keep you quiet and you're going to leave me alone. In 2016, I stood in a courtroom as a judge sentenced me for fraud. He sentenced me to 2 years. 2 years. For 2 years, I was going to be away from my kids. For 2 years, I was going to be a criminal. I was going to be a prisoner. Hadn't I spent long enough being a prisoner? I was his prisoner for 20 years, and now all of a sudden I have to go into a jail? Wow. So I made plans. I found someone to move into my home. I got FNCS on board. They knew what was going on. I assigned guardianship to another individual so they could take care of my kids. And I made sure that my kids were going to be okay. I made sure that he wouldn't be able to take them from me. I made sure that the least amount of damage to my children was occurring. So I did my time. I came home. He went away. For the very first time in the past 20 some odd years, it was the very first time I felt safe. I didn't feel like I had to look over my shoulder. I didn't worry if the phone was going to ring, it was going to be him. I didn't have to put my kids at the door to send them off to him. I felt safe. And as soon as he got released, he's on the phone with Harley, letting her know that he's released and he wants to see the kids again. At this point, I'm not going to let it happen. At this point, no, I have sole custody. I have the right to determine what is going to happen. I have the right to determine what's safe and what's good for my kids and what's not. But because he's not around, he's not going to help out with expenses or anything. He's not going to pay child support. He's going to balk at all that. So now we're really struggling. Harley wants to join Speed River because while he was around, he would pay for it. As soon as he wasn't around anymore, he wasn't going to pay for it. And it was almost like he was saying to her, get your mom back on board and I will pay for this. Like me and I will pay for this for you. And so I said, this is bogus. I am going to do this myself. I am going to figure out a way to do this myself. So I decided to go in search of somewhere to help. At this point in time, we had we still have Family and Children's Services. Family and Children's Services was in our life, and I asked my then worker, Megan, I said, is there anything that could help so that I could get some assistance for the kids who go into programs? And she sent me the link for the Children's Foundation. And they saved me. I remember calling my mom and saying, I did it. I got Harley into Speed River. She can go back to Speed River because I did it. It wasn't me personally, but I did it. She can go. She doesn't have to know that it's from Children's Foundation. Nobody has to know but me. And so she went for a session with Speed River and she really enjoyed it. And Karina is an awesome runner, but her self-esteem is so low that she doesn't feel that she's good at anything. So we decided to put her into Speed River. Again, Children's Foundation, we can help you. And they did, they helped me. And the process of dealing with them was so seamless. It was so easy. It was so warm and friendly and no judgment, not a single amount of judgment. And I think having been the woman that had the executive job and the good income and to not have it, I sure appreciate it more now. Then I took it for granted. Now, I really, really am grateful. And to the end of my life, I will always feel blessed that the Children's Foundation came into my world.
In 3 words, running has saved me. Without running, I don't know if I'd be in this mental state right now where I just feel at peace with myself. I wouldn't be here without her. I want everyone to know how much I love my mom. I'm crying. I wouldn't be here without her.